Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our series on directed search. In this video, we are going to go and discuss what equilibrium looks like in the context of moen and discuss comparative statics. And by comparative statics, that's not really the best term here, but we're going to go and talk about extensions of this model in order to go think about this submarket concept. Let's go. In terms of defining equilibrium in our model, we should note that we won't obtain a clean analytical solution because we have multiple dimensions here. We have n different submarkets. So we would have appropriate beverage curves, job creation conditions, and wage determination equations, which are unique for each one of them. It's not just one set of equations that we're solving for. We're solving for n set of equations. To characterize this, we note that our value of our vacant firms, right, in equilibrium are going to go and approach this setup cost K. Our wages for firm I is going to be derived through this maximization of V, right, which is our vacant firm's value. Our unemployed workers' value is going to be characterized by this equation here, right? This is, again, the non-recursive part over here. So we do have an analytical solution right here for each submarket I. This next equation down here is going to be our transition. This is our probability of our unemployed workers finding a job is going to be equal to the probability of our unemployed workers losing their job. So we can think of this equation as a sort of multi-dimensional beverage curve, multi-dimensional in the sense that we have this U without a subscript here defining all unemployed workers in that sense for each unique submarket. And the last one is just, a trivial condition saying that the mass of all unemployed workers across n submarkets is going to sum to a unitary mass U. So the main thing that we want to go and communicate is that in equilibrium, workers are indifferent about the subset of firms that they go and apply to. This is extremely powerful. Hence, all submarkets must give the same expected income for unemployed workers. Firms thus choose a subset of omega I as to maximize their expected income. So we could have firms posting different wages. This is something that's very unique and that we observe in the real world. And we can have workers going and applying to different jobs with different wages. But it's a matter of your likelihood of going and getting picked up by these firms. Thus, we only have this equilibrium expected income from applying to each one of these firms, and likewise a equilibrium expected value of a vacancy for going and making an offer instead. So the key diagram that we are going to use is this one here. We have our labor market tightness on our y-axis and our wage on our x-axis. We have this concave brown curve here with a V here, which is our value of our firm posting a vacancy, and it is a concave curve. And we have these indifference curves, which is faced by our workers, right? Which is this term where it goes and it faces a trade-off between a labor market tightness and omega I, or omega, which is our wage here. And we see that there is a tangency condition here. So we think of this indifference curve, faced by our workers, and this concave curve faced by our producers here. This RUI term right here, it just goes and it characterizes that our firm can't go and offer a wage right here. It can't happen. That's a little bit too light of a color. Let's go and make it a little bit more visual. But you can't go and do that here. So this just rules out this area here. We can go and think that we would go and see our potential subset of wages go and shrink, as we'll see in the case where we have multiple firms or multiple types of workers that are out there, multiple submarkets. It could shift like this, or it could shift left depending on what our home benefit is in terms of that shock. The way we're going to go and extend this is that we're going to go and really think about what does it mean by n markets here. So let's first talk about heterogeneous firms. So we're going to have high productivity and low productivity firms, right? And we're going to go and define their curves as follows. So when we have these two types of firms, right, we see that there's a indifference between applying for jobs with these different wages, because we see that there is this trade-off between the probability of finding a job and a wage associated with it. So that's the main thing that we go and we have characterizing our equilibrium. Likewise, we can go and have a case where we have heterogeneous workers, where our firm, it can post, two different sort of wages, but it just depends on which submarket this firm wants to be going and posting its wage in. That would be the main way to go and think about this. So I left out, one part about, rational expectations, equilibrium here in this context, because, I haven't really provided a sufficient background to go and get into that. But this idea of understanding how we can have a subset of wages that our firm is posting, and how these submarkets go and work, meaning that a submarket is characterized by a wage and its associated tightness with it, really helps to go and think about how directed search brings these labor market models more into the real world. So I hope this video helps. I will see you guys in the next video, where we talk about a planner's problem and efficiency in the context of moen. Take care.